Yeah, that's just a piece of it. What's up, everybody? Welcome to Dueling Aces. G here with Adam, the birthday boy. Clint, hype man,
Which is longer return.
back in action. And Mr. Zolt.
Don't worry, everything's fine. Don't mind the background.
Everything is fine. Everything is fine.
And I didn't want to be that guy too. Like after the whole Lions game yesterday, but look, Detroit, you can't be greedy. You got the Michigan championship. You can't have both.
Okay, number one, yes, you can.
Yes, I was going to say yes. Even I was in like, yeah, get it all.
To mess everything up for everybody.
Well, being as Cleveland fans, we got greedy because we got the one against the Warriors, and then we thought we were going to beat the Cubs, and then the karma came back to get us because we were talking about blowing the 3-1 lead, and then guess what we ended up doing in the World Series?
Blowing the 3-1 lead.
That's exactly why they lost. Everybody talking about, oh man, they up 3-1. Don't blow the 3-1 lead. I'm like, oh, here y'all go. Y'all talking to this, man.
You can't do that in Cleveland.
Because I think then the Monsters won the championship day. They like, we're not giving Cleveland 3.
Yeah.
Well, Stupe had the title too at that time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we had
3. They was giving us 4.
We had 3. We were shooting for 4. And somebody went, nope, quit being greedy. Yes.
That's a little much. You're pushing it now.
Yeah. Cleveland
if the Indians would have won it, we would have been pushing it, asking for the Browns.
Well, we would have burned the city down had the Indians won
it. Yeah, we would have.
Cuyahoga would have been on fire again.
I said it a week and a half ago. I said we really need to lose a game here because there ain't going to be nothing left if we don't.
Well, the game was it was exactly what we anticipated. We said it was going to be a very close game. It was going to be a shootout. I needed Tylenol and Excedrin and a few other things after the first quarter, and was just like, "Yep, okay, forget it." And
yeah, but you were the prime. You sir are the prime reason as to why you never count your. I believe me as a Michigan fan. I know because I don't ever until the clock hits 0 say anything, talk any trash because of obviously the Michigan State punt game.
This has been 2 weeks in a row, though. I mean, 2 weeks in a row. You had to turn around. They had to go and pull this stunt against the Packers, and then to turn around and have to do it again. I mean, after seeing the jumped online this afternoon and seeing the replay, and I don't know that. I know that the 4th down thing has been Campbell's MO, and I love it. I love it right out the get-go. But when you're on the 30 and it's 27-24, you take the 3. I
said the same thing.
Okay.
You're playing a chess match and you haven't, but they hadn't even scored the whole third quarter.
You gotta look at this. How I look at it. I think it was one in the first half when they was up like 24-10, and they had a 4th down. He didn't go for it. You take the 3 then. That one I don't have a problem with because you live by the sword. You look. Don't change nothing up. You go by what you roll with, and also that Lion defense wasn't stopping nothing in that second half. He got to the point where he's like, you know what? If I kick this field goal, they can go right down the field and get a field goal back. That's how bad this defense been in the second half.
But there was a lot of time left.
And Jamar Gibbs is the luckiest person right now because if he don't fumble that ball, that was the real momentum changer. Because then McCaffrey get a touchdown like next play. He's the luckiest guy in Detroit right now because it's all falling on Dan Campbell. But I don't got a problem with him going put on that 4th.
It's not all on Campbell. Gibbs is thanking his lucky stars for Josh Reynolds.
That too, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
2 of them.
2 of them. Yeah.
Bad ones. 2 bad ones.
Well,
I mean, the second one literally goes into his chest and bounces out.
But Goff also missed St. Brown twice.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, there's plenty of blame. there's lots of blame, especially in the second half. There's lots of blame to go around. Let me tackle the
But they
fourth down
didn't.
call.
They didn't look. Well, the thing is they didn't look cocky. They were confident. They were totally showing they were confident, and they said, "We're going to turn around and run this ball right down the field. We're going to keep going." I mean, so it wasn't the fact that and Dan was right in his press conference. I saw it last night after people woke me back up. He said, we didn't walk into the locker room going, yeah, we got this in the bag and we're just going to phone it in, at 24/7. He says, we turned around and came right back out. And he says, we were playing the whooping. Yeah. And he's right. They were. They still were.
They did perfectly fine when momentum was on their side. And frankly, I'm going to attribute most of that to the fact of how young this team is. You've learned how to lose now. Yeah. So that right there, that game, that second half is going to play in their heads for a very long time. Sometimes you need to lose to win.
What did you think of? Have you seen his press conference from last night?
I caught the highlights of it.
He said that they weren't. He said he was. It wasn't. I don't believe he meant it as, he's saying to his guys that, look, we're not going to get here again.
Oh, okay.
I said, wait a minute. Why would you even?
No,
he's just letting him know how tough it is to get back there.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what he's saying.
Well, yeah, I got that, but the way that he said it, it was.
I mean, it's not like he's got scripted answers. He's giving
Dan
the
Campbell
that he has. Yeah, it's exactly.
The first time said we biting kneecaps. I mean, are you expecting anything insane coming from Dan Campbell?
But I mean, no. But I'm just and he's saying, well, we're now the target. Not necessarily. I mean,
you're not going to surprise anybody.
You're not going to surprise. Well, actually, this year you were still picked to be number one. You were picked to be number one in the conference this year. So that's why I was a little confused by that, because nobody had you sitting at 2, 3, or 4. Everybody said you're winning your division, period.
Right.
So, I mean, that was a no-brainer. Right. So that's why I thought, shoot, I wouldn't say that, the Lions wouldn't be right back there going into next year.
I do want to spend a minute just addressing the fourth down calls. I don't have the full analytics for the second one. I've seen them for the first one. I saw the analytics for the first one before the second one happened. 85% success rate going for it on that fourth down, 82% success rate for kicking the field goal. If you're just going straight numbers, that's it. Dan Campbell's gone for it how many times?
I think I said that yesterday. He's trigger happy when it comes to going for it on fourth down.
He's the most successful at it, though. He is the most successful.
I've been successful at it.
Again, going to bring you some numbers. 75% success rate in the regular season. They were 2 for 2 in the postseason going into that game.
Yeah, but kicking that field goal, doesn't that tie that game, though?
Meanwhile, a 48-plus yard field goal for Michael Bagley, whoever he is, 9 for 20.
That was another thing I've seen too. They say he is not good from like 45 plus.
No.
So you probably do go for it and risk it. Like, I don't think he can make it from 46.
So 40-something percent.
Yeah. Yeah, go for the points.
And then I'm just going to quote Bill Barnwell off of his Twitter feed. It seems bizarre to spend all year lauding Dan Campbell for believing in his philosophy and his team for 3 years, having had those fourth down decisions pay off over and over again for Detroit, and now insists that he should be kicking. If he straight up switched his philosophy in the middle of that game, kicked that ball, and Badgley missed, it'd be, what are you doing? You literally
normally go for it.
Yeah, you always go for it. Why did you suddenly?
There's a case that you can make for both, though, and unfortunately, you squandered a double-digit lead in the second half of a football game where you were dominating the game and allowed a team to come back, and then you were in a position where you needed that 3 points late in the game. So I could see, I can understand the argument of kick field goal, kick it.
Yeah,
because
but
that could have
when your
paid
kicker's-
dividends.
when your kicker's a 45% kicker from that distance,
I'm not disagreeing with you.
yeah. And
I'm
again,
not
it was going to look bad no matter what. So
Yeah.
I'm not disagreeing with you, but I think in certain situations we put too much emphasis on percentages and numbers and not enough on the individuals.
and to be fair, I don't think Dan Campbell looks at the percentages. I think he just goes for it.
I don't think he does. I don't think he does either. But like, if you're in that position and you have the opportunity to send a team that has never been to the Super Bowl to the Super Bowl, then there's no tomorrow, man. Pull out all the stops, because at least you know what? I mean, to be quite honest, it's like that line from the movie 300, Spartan, come home with your shield or on it. And they came home on their shields. But I think that they left a little bit out there, to be honest with you. That game, I said it Monday night, and George laughed at me. I said the Lions could win by 10. And that first half and that third quarter, George was silent. He was like, this game's over.
Yep. I actually went to bed because I had to be up super early this morning for the Jefferson run. And I'm like, man. And all of a sudden, some people turned around and pinged my phone, called my phone, said, we won. And I'm like, oh, God. I'm like, really? Okay.
They're but George is also notorious for the woe is my team, we lose, to pump them up to get them to come back. Like he's done that before.
Wait a minute.
Did that before. Then we have
that did not work in the Buckeye game.
Hold on. I can testify to this. Didn't we have a thing that year when the Browns went to the playoffs? We literally like, George, you need to talk crap about the Browns. Because every time you talk crap about the Browns,
they would start doing good.
And I'll be completely and utterly honest. And Suds tried to be a smart ass last night, and it didn't work. Because Zolt had my back on it, and I appreciate it. I don't care about this Super Bowl matchup. I don't care.
No, I'm on the same boat as you. I really don't need her. I'm probably not gonna watch the Super Bowl this year.
Half the damn game staring at some wide camera shot of Taylor Swift because she's dating a football player. Like, I do not look. Is it good for the sport that you're going to expose a whole fan base of preteen girls who only know Taylor Swift songs to football? Maybe. But like, I don't care about the Super Bowl matchup. I'd have cared more if it was San Francisco and Baltimore, or if it was Detroit and Baltimore, or if it was Detroit and KC.
Which would have been really funny considering how it was the first game of the season to start the season, and then it would have been the one to end the season too.
Swear to God, that was in my script. I don't know what the hell happened.
That would have been very cool. That would have been very damn cool.
That would.
I think they got the worst possible Super Bowl matchup in the 49ers in Kansas City.
Well,
I think that
Kansas City a little receipt too.
I don't give a crap about your receipts. Do it whenever you got to do it, but like, make it a game that's going to be entertaining. Because quite honestly, like this game.
Yeah, if they start off and it's a debacle, they're not going to be coming back against Kansas City.
Look,
they've proven that already.
And the other thing,
I mean, hell, the 49ers had a 10-point lead over Kansas City, and the 49ers screwed the pooch.
And to be quite honest, all the stuff that came out Sunday with all the pregame shenanigans down there in Baltimore, I don't know how you turned around and went from being the golden boy to like the most hated individual in football in like half a season.
Trying to play that bad boy role.
I don't even think he's trying to play a bad boy role. He comes off as spoiled and entitled.
That's
I'm
why
talking about
Jason's
Mahomes or
better.
Kelsey.
We're talking about Mahomes.
Oh yeah.
No.
Oh, you mean Kermit the Frog, Mickey Mouse?
Dude, you're sitting there. You're standing in the kicker's end zone who was there warming up before you and start throwing his tee away.
Yeah.
And
Well, Kelsey did that, but
That was Kelsey.
no, Mahomes did it too.
No, the video it shows Kelsey.
There's a video of Mahomes doing it too, George.
Then they
Kelsey
said
does,
it's
Kelsey does
something
it.
like
Kelsey does it. Mahomes comes up and kicks Tucker's tee away. Then Tucker gets up, says something to the both of them, puts his tee back. Then Mahomes comes back, grabs the tee, and then throws it out of the frame.
well, the problem with Mahomes is he is entitled per se because he's been to out of his 6 years in the league, he's been to 4 Super Bowls.
5.
Well, okay, two fucking many or two ever many at this
4
point.
Super Bowls, 5 straight NFC, and 5 straight AFC title games.
And that's disgusting. Like I'm so sick of the Kansas City crap. And it wasn't when this was way before the Taylor Swift stuff. Like I'm just done. Like I understand that they're trying to be the new Patriots, but it's annoying.
I don't understand why we can't we all know the NFL's as scripted as WWE, but
well, they're trying to flip the script considering, once the color for the Super Bowl came out, they had to, mix it up a little bit since everybody was onto them.
you couldn't have scripted a better finish if you had the opportunity to have Detroit and Cleveland right there.
Or Detroit and Buffalo.
Or Detroit and Buffalo.
Buffalo would still have wide right.
You couldn't. It's just, and the sad thing is with all the streaming and stuff now, there's Super Bowl commercials that are already getting leaked onto the streaming apps.
Oh, they've been getting leaked for several years already.
I understand that, but you can't. Come on, man. Half the fun of watching the Super Bowl is the commercials.
especially this Super Bowl. The best part will be the commercials.
No, the best part of the Super Bowl will be when it's over.
Yeah, that too.
I'm gonna say this now. I hope the 49ers win.
Oh, that's it. Oh my God.
Okay, hang on. We have a week coming up. We have a Monday coming up where literally the only thing we got
It's the Super Bowl.
is Super Bowl prep.
Not true.
No,
the Clash of the Coliseum is this weekend, sir.
The race. Yeah.
The Clash of Champions and Super Bowl prep.
They said The Rock gonna be the Grand Marshal for the 500. So
That's in 2 weeks.
he's
3
everywhere.
weeks. That's in 3 weeks. Because we had the 24 hours of Daytona this past weekend, and then this weekend is the Clash. Then you have the Super Bowl. Then you have Daytona.
Is the
speaking of-
Clash of Champions in the fantasy league that I'm not invited to?
The Clash at the Coliseum is a exhibition race. It is not, but I will be opening up the fantasy league that you are not invited to on Super Bowl week, so that you cannot make your picks
Understood.
for the race that you're not allowed to pick in the Daytona 500.
Understood.
Speaking of The Rock, I happened to catch the press conference from Triple H after the Rumble Saturday or into Sunday. Interesting that The Rock got voted on to the board of directors.
Of course he would. He's a brand ambassador. That's a smart move on their part.
I think he got the Rock trademark to him. He owns everything associated with The Rock now.
Yeah, but he's a brand ambassador. You see The Rock, you associate him with wrestling and movies. Like it makes
and all his
now
outside
football.
ventures he got.
Anybody else watching?
And a football league that starts in 3 weeks.
Anybody
You
else
got all
even
that,
watching
but you got
wrestling
all
at the
that.
moment?
You got all the outside stuff.
I am
though.
not watching wrestling at
He's
the moment.
involved. Yeah, no.
How is Gunther not even started his match against Kofi and he's already bleeding?
Probably got hard weighed.
It's over here on his up by his chest. It looks like,
He probably hit some. He probably hit something, got cut.
I just think it's funny. Like he's holding up the title and he's like, "Dude, you're already dripping blood. Like, what the heck did you do?"
Probably, if they threw him into the steps or something, I could see the corner getting him.
I'm saying the match literally just started.
George got an education Saturday night sitting here in between me and Sean.
It was an awesome, entertaining evening, sir. Thank you again for the invite.
Half Hill and Connie came over.
Kelly would have been on the floor and just crawling out the front door.
It was me and Sean, and I'm pretty sure Sean and I said a couple of things that made George's skin crawl a couple of times.
Nope, just
You two together, yes.
Was just smiling ear to ear, going, "Yep."
Oh God, they didn't leave till almost 3:30 in the morning.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I got home about 4 or 5.
Because I had it playing on my phone, so I got to hear the rest of the men's match, and I walked in the door just in time when it was Cody and Punk, so I got to see the last lamest. Oh, that was bad.
I'm okay. Now that I've had a couple of days to digest it, I'm okay with it because with Punk being hurt, I think Punk was probably originally gonna win that. And then
I think so too. They changed it on the fly.
And I think they changed it on the fly. That. And so the other thing though is I think Punk got hurt before the Rumble, and the Rumble just exacerbated it and made it worse.
Forgive my ignorance. Who did win?
Cody Rhodes did.
That's right.
Back to back. First one in 26 years.
First one since Stone Cold.
And I like your vision of what's going on with Bayley, because I think you're right on that. It looks pretty damn good, Bruiser. That's a good call on that.
I think, I don't know. I didn't watch tonight, so but I did notice it. It's weird that it started out with a boot, now it's starting to work up the leg of the gear.
Yeah, like I said, you could definitely be dead onto that one.
It's subtle storytelling. If you're lost at what George and I are referring to, when Bayley went full heel, if you look at her gear, it was always some variation of like black and silver or black and gray.
She had yellow on Saturday, right?
But in the past few weeks, she started to add a little bit more color, and it started in her boots, and now she's got one yellow boot on, and it started to work up the leg of her gear, and like part of the leg of her gear was the old Hugger Bayley stuff. And I said, I wonder if she's slowly starting to turn babyface, and they're changing her gear ever so slightly to reflect that, because I think they're going to force her out of Damage Control at some point.
Yeah,
EOS title.
Yeah, they're gonna kick her out of Damage Control.
I think so, but back to the Punk thing. I think Punk got hurt somewhere over December or January doing the house shows, because if you look, they did that weird pivot last Monday to Gunther and Rollins at Mania, and you don't do, like, everybody's waiting for Punk and Rollins at Mania, and now it's probably going to be Rollins and Gunther at Mania. And if Rollins retains, you're probably setting up for Rollins and Punk at SummerSlam. Because they said 4 to 6 months. 4 to 6 months puts him on the mend. 4 months puts him on the mend and back just after WrestleMania at the beginning of May. 6 months on the mend brings him back
just
right,
before.
right around the 4th of July, and SummerSlam is right at the end of July, the beginning of August. And SummerSlam's in Detroit this year.
No,
they ain't announced it yet. Cleveland's the front runner though so far.
For
The
SummerSlam?
last
Detroit was
one.
last year.
Oh, it was
Detroit
last year.
Yeah.
I'll take SummerSlam in Cleveland. That'd be fun.
Right?
Yeah.
I'll be moving
Oh, yeah,
about that
that's it.
time, but that's fine.
Yeah, I'll take a SummerSlam here.
We've had a SummerSlam here. I was at the SummerSlam that was here.
That was a while ago.
1996.
I was 5.
I was 12 years old. Dude, I was 12 years old, and I yelled so many obscenities at Paul Bearer when he turned on The Undertaker.
I think the last pay-per-view I went to in Cleveland was what, Fastlane?
Yeah, I was at that one too, where the
I
Shield
was at that one,
retired
too.
because Dean Ambrose was leaving. Yep, I was there.
Well, I think the main event was what, Dean Ambrose and Bray?
No, it was the Shield versus Baron Corbin, Drew McIntyre, and
No, it was
Bobby
one
Lashley.
before that then. Because I know they had it like 2 or 3 years almost like consecutive where it was like Fastlane was in Cleveland.
Well, that's interesting. Backlash is in Lyon, France.
Yeah, they're
Yeah,
doing a lot of overseas pay-per-views.
overseas. Elimination Chamber in
In
February
Australia.
is in Australia, and it's
That's Rhea's whole
it's a
time.
it's a 5 a.m. bell time East Coast.
That's brutal.
My sleep's
Money-
more important.
Money in
I'll
the
go
Bank
with
is Money in the Bank is in Toronto, and apparently they're doing a bash in Berlin on August 31st.
Yep.
So they got to put SummerSlam in between July 6th and August 31.
SummerSlam the past few years has been at the tail end of July, beginning of August.
Yeah.
That's a lot of international travel.
Yeah.
I can't wait till they put a WrestleMania in Wembley Stadium and make that AEW crowd look tiny.
Bless you.
I was waiting to see if there was another one coming.
Thank you.
It was like I watched a lot of people crap on the Royal Rumble, like on Twitter and Instagram and Facebook, but I went back and I rewatched it, and it really wasn't. It was a solid pay-per-view from start to finish. It wasn't anything to write home about. Like nothing shocking happened.
No.
The only thing shocking that happened was that apparently, according to multiple sources, that Braun Breaker was in Brock Lesnar's spot, and Brock Lesnar was told not to come.
That and the elimination and everything was still the same. Like
It's
you
gonna
mean
be
to
the
tell me
same thing.
Like Dominic was supposed to
Dom was going to eliminate Brock
by accident.
Lesnar by accident.
Oh yeah, Brock wasn't having none of that.
Well, no, he was supposed to. Dominic
Oh.
was supposed to eliminate Brock by just being a conniving heel, and then it was going to be Brock and Dominic at Elimination Chamber. But with all of the Vince McMahon stuff that happened last week, and Brock being the unnamed UFC champion / WWE star that had been re-signed or was that they were attempting to re-sign when all those allegations came out, Brock was told to stay home, and then they gave that spot to Braun Breaker.
Well, what about the Jordan Grace?
I was happy to see her.
Jordan Grace. So I watched the press conference like the next day. I didn't watch it right after, because after the pay-per-view was over, I turned the 24 Hours of Daytona back on, and then Connie and Sean and I and the wife just sat here and talked for a while. I got marble mouth tonight. Leave me alone. But like we were sitting here bullshitting for a while. But I watched the press conference the next day, and with Scott D'Amore being in charge of TNA, and Scott D'Amore and Triple H having a relationship, a business relationship. Obviously, I think you're gonna see more TNA people coming over.
Jordan Grace even said it on her
she held
Twitter.
her
She
own.
said this ain't the last you've seen of TNA and like WWE. Like she herself said it. So like yeah, they're gonna have a relationship.
And you know what? She went from being the thick bubble butt girl to she's a beast. Like you look at that physique, and no other woman has that physique.
No.
And she body builds part time.
Yeah, she looks amazing.
Power lift or body build?
She body built. She was a power lifter, but she body builds now.
Okay.
And like
I knew she was a power lifter at one point.
But that's an amazing physique. That's unique. You bring that into WWE with the marketing team that they have behind them and the way that WWE can like showcase someone, that's a star waiting to happen. Imagine, like, I could think of four possible matchups right now that I would love to see with Jordan Grace. I'd love to see Jordan Grace versus Bianca. I'd love to see Jordan Grace versus Charlotte.
That would be good.
I'd love to see Jordan Grace versus Asuka.
That's what we're talking about.
That would be a good one.
Asuka?
Yes.
Yeah. And to be honest, I'd like to see Jordan Grace versus Shayna Baszler.
That would be good.
That'd be another good one.
That'd be really good. Yeah. That'd be really good.
I mean, I was watching because I always like to watch the surprise people that come in, and Andrade was the best you had.
Andrade's re-signed with WWE, but I think I'm willing to give him a pass. I'm legitimately willing to give them a pass because I think we're trying to set a new standard. We're trying to move forward, and we're getting out of the hokey gimmicks of the past. You know, the Vince pulling out the big boss man to come out in the Royal Rumble, or Big Show, or Jake Roberts, or whomever, like X-Pac, Diesel. We're getting away from that.
Well, you still have Pat McAfee.
Apparently Pat McAfee didn't even know his number was going to get called.
Yeah, that was interesting.
I like how he played that.
That's one thing I did like about the Rumble, though. Like you got so many people there, you don't got to bring back all them old guys. Like,
you know what else I liked about the Royal Rumble? That was a 4-hour pay-per-view, and it didn't feel like 4 hours.
Nope, it didn't.
And he only had 4 matches. Well, technically,
and it only had 4 matches.
Yeah. Well, and Bruiser, I'm going to let you bring that up about how the match ended with Kevin Owens, because you brought up a very, very interesting point, and talking about how that they
didn't bury him.
Well, as being a jobber.
So people think being a jobber, like you lose, you're getting jobbed out, and that's not what that happened. That's not what that means. Making someone look weak when they lose is jobbing them out. Barry Horowitz,
Iron Mike
Sharp, Brooklyn Brawler. Those guys were jobbers, right? Those were jobbers. The thing about not jobbing Kevin Owens out on Saturday night was they made a believable finish, and you still made Kevin Owens look strong in the end because you allowed him the moment where he knocked Logan Paul out and then got caught, with the knucks. So you still let your champ look strong, and then you let your star in Kevin Owens look strong. And so I didn't have any problem with the finish. I thought it worked well. It was a good wrestling finish.
But we did bring up
now
Paul didn't sell it enough because he jumped right up after the end of the match.
That was my only beef with it, was he got up afterward. You just got hit in the face with brass knuckles. They should be coming out to check on your jaw to make sure it's not broken. But I think some of that, though, the cat's too far out of the bag, where everybody knows they're gimmicked, everybody knows they're worked. They're not real brass knuckles. When Half Hill and I were heels and we used a set of brass knuckles, I had a friend of mine in a machine shop make me a set out of aluminum. And I would tell, if we were doing a effed finish where we were going to go over dirty and we were going to use the knucks, I would tell the guy that was getting hit with them, don't get up. Let your partner drag you out of the ring. Don't get up. Why? I said, don't get up. So we'd hit them and then we'd throw the knucks so they would hit the floor outside of the ring, and then you'd hear the metal ping, 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 ping. And then it's an audio response in the fan's eye. They say the guy laying there, they hear the metal. Oh, those are real. They don't know they're made out of aluminum.
Damn magician, you.
What's that?
You damn magician, you.
I mean,
that's all it takes. See, that's how small. That's all it takes is get into people's head, and people don't think about stuff like that.
But that's like, there's a guy where I work. He's a super nerdy guy, loves D&D and anime and magic and all that stuff. And he found out I used to be a pro wrestler, or am a pro wrestler, and he doesn't watch it, he doesn't understand it. And he's like, he was across from me at my station on Friday, and he goes, so tell me, like, really, it's not real, right? Like, it's fake. And I said, would you go up to David Copperfield and ask him if it was fake? Would you go up to a actors in a Broadway musical and ask him if it's fake? And he goes, well, and I said, are you getting the point? I said, it doesn't. I said, yeah, everybody's known since the 80s that the outcomes are predetermined. I said, but I've been around more injury in a wrestling ring than I have outside of it.
Right.
On stupid stuff. On absolutely stupid stuff that was an accident. So, I mean, but you have to, back to the brass knuckle things. Like, that cat's so far out of the bag, I think they need to start bringing a little bit of realism. Like, just a little bit, man. Let somebody get busted open the hard way.
You don't see a lot of coloring nowadays on the WWE.
No, and it goes back because they were a PG rated product and this and that.
Or is it because Moxley keeps going a little overboard?
Well, Moxley's not in WWE, but I think
right. But I'm saying, like in AEW, how he's going overboard.
But that's blood for blood's sake. I think if you had, take Punk and Rollins, for example, right? We know that there's like real heat there, right? Yeah. We know that there is a real legitimate issue.
Yes, we do.
If you were to build that up, where they're cutting promos and they're getting close to a physical altercation and they're getting close, and then all of a sudden there is one and Punk throws him into something and busts him open hard way, and you see Rollins screaming at him with blood coming down his face, are you going to buy that pay-per-view to watch that match because you want to watch those two rip each other apart?
Absolutely.
And Skippy.
Yeah. Give me a little bit of realism. Just a little bit. Jerry Jarrett, who owned the Memphis territory in the 70s and 80s, had a sign above his desk that said, personal issues draw money. Give me a real personal issue.
Kind of like the whole Daniel Bryan and Miz interview on that Talk Smack or whatever.
Oh, that Talking Smack that was a great match afterward.
Great, yes, it was.
But give me that, because I know going into Mania, we're gonna get a lot of hyperbole from Rhodey or from from Rhodes about, what happened last year and finishing the story. And they're going to be great promos. They really are. But it's going to be what you expect. Can't wait to finish my story at WrestleMania. I can't wait to do this. I can't wait to do that. I'm sorry, but tell me why you hate Roman Reigns and why he shouldn't hold that title anymore.
It's getting drawn out.
Tell me why, tell everybody what we're all thinking. Yeah, we hate seeing Roman with the title. We hate the fact that he seems invincible. Tell us all of that and tell us why you're going to beat him and make it personal.
But I will give Roman credit, though. Once Cody won the Rumble, is the fact that, he knew Cody was coming for him kind of thing. You could see, he was already regretting the fact that he had the face. The way he played it up was really good in his part.
But I've known since the night after WrestleMania last year that Cody Rhodes was going to win the Royal Rumble and go on to face Roman Reigns this year.
I didn't think he was. Well, I don't think he was going to win it this year once we knew Punk was there. But obviously, with the Punk injury, that changed everything. I think they should have had Gunther win it, or Gunther.
Did I not say that, George?
Yep. He was saying that it's exactly.
That dude's too good to have the Intercontinental title.
I think Gunther should win the Royal Rumble, win the title off of Rollins at WrestleMania, and then hold both of them and defend them both.
I think Gunther would be the perfect choice to be the one to finally beat Roman.
Well, and remember, but Priest is on a short time frame for cashing in the Money in the Bank briefcase, which he has not done yet.
He won't. I think he's gonna. They have really tried to minimize that and make it not special anymore, so that they can make it special again. Because remember, guys would wait till the very end of a match, run in, cash it in, and then there's your new champion. You could almost call it.
Yeah.
And I think they're trying to make it unpredictable and special again. And I'm okay with it. The guy I think that Gunther's going to dethrone is Cody.
Since Cody's eliminated him the last 2 years in the Rumble, it's kind of he'll get you back in the. They're going to play into that aspect of it.
No, I think they're just going to make Cody the sympathetic babyface champion, and Gunther is just this monster of a challenge that just it can't be stopped.
Which it ticks me off with this whole Vince thing because it sounded like it was going to be Brock and Gunther at Mania.
Probably.
That would have been a hell of a match.
Brock and Gunther at Mania would have been good. I don't think it would have been as good as people would have hoped it would have been. Well,
as long as it's not like a Bill Goldberg and Lesnar type match. I never saw that coming.
Brock, while Brock is in the past couple of years has been a really good worker and I've heard things about him being more willing to work with guys instead of muscling them around. Gunther works that old school, snug style, and I think the moment that Gunther lit him up with one of those forearms or one of those chops, Brock
would take it the wrong way.
Yep.
And then now we actually got a couple stiff ones getting thrown out.
Now we got to fight.
Shoot.
It was Rumble in itself was pretty good. I thought that championship match was the perfect opportunity to take the title off of Roman.
I do love the spot where it was the triple pin though.
With AJ?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was good.
I think I would have had LA Knight win that match.
Who was it that had him beat? Was it Orton and then Solo came in?
LA Knight had him beat.
No, I was going to say it. No, it was AJ. AJ had him.
Orton had him beat. AJ Solo had him beat, and all three of them.
So they played it up for all three.
Yeah, all three of them at one point had him beat. Because when LA Knight had him beat, Solo yanked the ref.
That's the one I was thinking of.
Yeah.
The one thing I didn't, going back to the U.S. title match with Logan Paul, the one part that seemed really, really awkward and weird was when the dude hopped the rail who was part of
his entourage or his clique.
Yeah. That just seemed like off. Like there was a miscommunication on timing.
It was very flimsy, you know what I mean? They flubbed it.
It came off weird.
And then all of a sudden, the other two dudes showed up.
Waller and Austin Theory, yeah.
Was he calling himself the Aussie Legend or something?
Who? Austin
Waller.
Theory?
No, Waller.
Yeah, he's calling himself the Aussie Legend.
Rhea Ripley would have whooped his butt.
Wow.
The women's Royal Rumble match was on first.
Yeah, R-Truth.
And the girl child was upstairs. And I yelled for her. She came down. And Jordan Grace came out. And Madison was like, ugh. And then Jade Cargill came out. And she's like, oh my God, look at her back. She was just drooling over the muscle structure of this girl's back.
Huge.
It was hilarious.
I was like, why don't you wipe up your chin there, honey?
Yeah, I was sitting there. I was just like, damn. Okay.
Oh God.
Oh, it was funny.
I do like the way Chelsea Green got smashed around quite a bit in the Rumble on Saturday.
She's good. They are in WWE right now, especially. I mean, let's talk about that for a minute. Did anybody besides me actually read that article?
Which one?
The Wall Street Journal article?
Just those screenshots and stuff that people were sharing with us.
Did you read any of the screenshots of the actual text messages that Vince sent?
How dirty he was?
Oh God.
Oh man. Oh buddy.
Look, I'm not going to disparage this young lady. And I'm not going to say that she didn't go through any type of mental trauma, abuse, or anything like that, because clearly she did. And I think some of this might have been consensual at some point.
Well, it was. The thing is what they said, that she was supposed to get $3 million paid to her after the signing of the non-disclosure, but she only got a $1 million, and that's why she came out and started,
That was that. So I'm talking. She's patient zero. He paid her off, and along with a number of other individuals that were involved in other sexual exploits. But I think some of this might have been consensual at one point, and then it got way, way out of hand, and she didn't know how to get out of it.
And yeah.
And then she said, "Well, pay me, and I'll go away. How much is it going to take? $3 million. Okay." And Vince has classically, going back to the territory days when he would buy out territories, make the first payment and then not make any more. Not make any more payments. So, but now, the moment he didn't make any more payments, he voided the NDA. And she saved all that info. And that's just...
She had the receipts.
Oh, God. Like, if somebody has that amount of dirt on you, don't you think you'd be smart and make sure that it went away forever?
You would think. But Vince was thinking it was obviously the wrong head in that situation.
Well, and now you've got people talking about that Shane knew and was trying to blow the...
And that's why
he was trying to blow
separation
the
with... Yeah.
Yeah. And Stephanie found out about some of this. And that's
I just want to know, what is Linda doing? Why have we not heard anything from her about,
Vince and Linda have been separated for years now. He lives in Connecticut. She lives in Florida.
They just won't get divorced because doesn't she get half or she was supposed to get half, and
she will be cha-ching. Well, she's still getting cha-ching.
What I say Saturday night, George. Linda knows where the bodies are buried.
That's right.
Just
That's
waiting for
right.
Vince to screw up so she can ride him out.
She's getting paid either way, baby.
Linda knows where all the bodies are buried.
Yep.
I like how Zolt is studiously sitting there in his inferno of a cardboard box typing.
Statman
working.
crunching numbers.
I'm working. I'm getting the breaking news that we so desperately are craving right now.
What breaking news?
Anything.
I'm sorry, is wrestling boring you, Zolt?
Having not watched the pay-per-view, I have little to contribute.
Yeah, but now we're talking about the fact that the dude who has owned wrestling for the last 50 years is being showed out on his ass.
Is a scumbag?
Is a scumbag.
I mean, that's not news.
Well, to this level of scumbacity.
And that's fair. That's fair.
Yeah, it's.
We could talk about how Roger Penske team won the 24 Hours of Daytona for the first time since 1969.
Didn't even watch it.
It's
different. I can't get into it.
It takes a little bit, but it's fun to watch.
Or we could talk about how, was it karma? Comes back to bite you in the ass when you do dumb things like throw a temper tantrum on the sidelines after you fumble and then cut your hand open.
Who did that?
Zay Flowers.
Zay Flowers. But hey, that's okay. He came out today and said he's over it.
Oh, right. Yeah. You had time to sleep on it. You look like a total idiot on national TV.
Does Zay Flowers play for Detroit?
No,
Baltimore.
This was the Baltimore game.
He had a touchdown. Just like the Browns game. He goes to dive, fumbles it in the end zone. Kansas City recovers.
Yeah.
So he goes over, slams his helmet down on the bench, throws his hand, and all of a sudden, next thing you know, he's just got blood trickling down his hand because he had cut open one of his fingers because he was slamming his helmet on the bench.
Okay. Gonna take 1 second to look at this throw. This is the Lamar triple coverage throw.
Or the interception when Deion Bush just came in.
Yes. Not as horrible a pass as you think. It was bad. It was underthrown, and it didn't go where it should have. But everybody's like, dude was triple covered. Why did you throw it? Why was this even an option? And if you haven't seen this yet, this is exactly why it was an option. So we're talking about Isaiah Likely, number 80.
Yeah.
So we're going to go, all of a sudden, boom, he has a step. He has a step on the guy covering him. This is when Lamar throws the ball. The problem is he wasn't triple covered then. He's actually gotten 27 beat.
Yep.
Assuming he beats 26 to where the ball's going, the problem was ball was underthrown and behind Likely. If it had been an on-target pass,
that's a touchdown.
That's a touchdown.
Yeah. So the throw itself wasn't the problem. The problem was Lamar just didn't hit his target.
Well, let's not
And
talk
look,
about.
look at 7. Ooh, baby.
Well, okay.
I'm not even looking at 7. I'm looking at 3 and 43.
Of course, by the time 3 hits his break, the ball is already gone.
Yeah, it's already gone. But 7, that's Odell, ain't it?
3 is Odell. 7 is Bateman.
Again, when the ball comes out, Bateman is in front of his coverage, not behind it. So
Yeah.
Or let's just talk about, not only did Baltimore self-employ with the penalties, but the self-inflicted wounds on the personal fouls and roughing the passer, stuff like that at the wrong time.
Flowers shoving that dude down on the freaking 7-yard line. It's like, taunting. Oh, well, back that up. It's like, wow.
I think, though, I know the NFL. The last count I saw that was going into the meetings after the Super Bowl and the rules committee stuff in the offseason, there was like 35 rule changes that were going to be discussed by the committee. either adjustment to existing rules or removal of existing rules or outright changing of existing. I really think that the one thing we need to look at in the offseason is the roughing the quarterback rule, because I'm sorry. What do you want a 300-pound defensive lineman to do when he is already mid-tackle? You want him to stop?
Yeah. How's he supposed to stop?
I get what Bruiser's saying too, but like the situation with Clowney, like Clowney and all the whole Ravens team gets upset. You lowered your head into his face mask. That's going to get called every time.
That I'm not arguing with.
Right, I'm just saying, but that's the stuff that they need to decipher. You know, obviously the egregious from the non.
That I'm not arguing. You want to lower your head and hit him in the face mask? Call that all day long. You want to call it
as you
should. As you should. Throw that flag all day long on that. But I saw one, I think it was last weekend or the weekend before. Lineman came off the left side of the line, unabated to the quarterback. Didn't have a single block. Quarterback had just gotten rid of the ball, and the defensive lineman hit him and tackled him, and they threw the flag for roughing. And I was like, it was a bang-bang. Like, the ball was leaving the dude's hands as the lineman hit him, and they threw the flag. And I thought that's egregious and stupid.
It's some of the calls are like there was a holding call even where the dude literally, just because it was one of those ones where it was like a screen pass, all he had to do was he was just supposed to do the Olay move, but because he grabbed him first, then Olay, because he grabbed, they called the hold. And it was literally for like 2 seconds. Like, you could have let that one go. Even Tony Romo said you could have let that one go. Greg Olsen.
I've seen wide receivers
running down to Holt's laptop caught fire.
No,
not fine. He said laptop just crashed.
I saw wide receivers grabbing onto the jerseys of secondary players, cornerbacks and safeties, and off OPI not getting called.
Yeah.
But like, you bump a wide receiver at that 5.5 yard mark and they're calling it every time. I'm sorry. You're like, handicapping the other half of the game. That last I checked is it wasn't 7-on-7 drills where it's a shootout. Let's see how much we can score. Defense has got to be able to play too, and you're handicapping
them. Yeah. Well, it's the Tom Brady rule.
And it's not even Tom Brady rule anymore. Look, Tom Brady, somebody asked Tom Brady about that in an interview not too long ago. And he goes, if I was playing today with the defenses I had to play against, he goes, my offense would never leave the field. He's like, I wouldn't have to throw a pass. We'd get down the field on penalties.
Stop it.
Excuse me. Sorry. Oh, sorry.
That's all right. Hey, George, my wife figured out how to make those snoogles.
Yeah?
Yeah, oh yeah. We found a recipe for them. She's going to make them this weekend.
Nice.
For sure. But the Clash of the Coliseums this weekend.
What time? What channel?
Fox, I believe.
Sunday night.
Well, it's Saturday and Sunday.
I was going to say, I thought it was. They were advertising it for Sunday.
So the heat races and stuff are on. Qualifying and stuff's on Saturday. And then it's 8 p.m. on Sunday. But I think they do stream part of it leading up to the actual race.
Come on, get out of my face. Come on.
All right, I have the format here.
There we go. I found it.
I have it in front of me, George.
I'm
So practice and qualifying is Saturday, February 3rd, live on FS1. And then the heat races are also on February 3rd, live on FS1. The last chance qualifier is live on Fox, followed by the 23 driver Clash main event at 8 p.m. on Fox.
What's the Mexico series here on screen?
Oh, it's just one of their international series. They so they do it's NASCAR, but it's Mexican NASCAR, if that makes any sense. So they have like Canada has the Pinty series, which is owned by NASCAR but runs exclusively in Canada.
Okay.
And then the Mexican series is where Daniel Suarez came from.
Okay.
But it's a good tie-in being in Southern California, bringing them in.
Okay. No, like I said, I saw that. I was like, okay. Did not know about that. All right. Cool.
I think Ryan Blaney repeats, by the way.
As champion?
Yep.
I just want to see Brad win a race.
I think he's going to win a couple this year. I think Brad Keselowski's winning the Daytona 500.
Don't you start that.
Oh, Adam.
I'm being dead serious. You look at where Roush where RFK started when Brad got there, right? And the increments that they made that year. And then look what they did last year.
Yeah, but Buescher won, 3 or 4 races?
And who helped him win a couple of them? Brad was in a position to win 2 of the races.
But gave him to Chris.
And gave him to Chris because he got behind him on a restart. And I'd rather the team win than me win.
This is the way it should be, per se. You know what I'm saying? When you're the owner,
but
if it's the Daytona 500, it's a different story.
I think. I think Brad has a legitimate shot to win the Daytona 500 this year, and I think it's either going to be him or Blaney that wins it, because Blaney's been really close the last 2 years. He's been
never
right
the last Hamlin either, though.
What? And he hasn't won one. He hasn't won it yet either.
But Hamlin's got 4?
3.
3. I knew he had a bunch. Like, yeah, he's always up there.
He's a great player. Bubba Wallace is another one I think could win the 500.
And then, of course, you always got to have the unknown first-time race winner that wins the 500 as their first race, too.
That could be Ty Gibbs.
Oof. That kid.
Hey, you know what? After losing your dad the night you win the championship in the Xfinity Series.
Oh, that's right. He did, didn't he?
Yep. And then getting your clock cleaned all year last year and getting caught up in stuff and being humble about it, I'm okay. You know what I mean?
Well, then you got the thing that's going to get me is just seeing all the different people in different places. Like Alex Berry now for
Josh Berry?
Or Josh Berry, yeah.
He's in Kevin Harvick's car. He's in the 4 car.
And then 10 is Gregson, right?
And Noah the worst kept secret.
Yeah.
Adam's computer froze. It looks like he's stroking out.
Oh, there he is.
I wish we could have screenshotted that, dude. You look like you were
That
stroking out
was
your
good.
one eye.
That
Was
was
like
good.
half closed. It's awesome.
That was good.
But there's a lot going into this year that could be really, really amazing. Like, I want to see how Legacy Motor Club adjusts to being under the Toyota banner. I want to see how Toyota functions now, where all of the manufacturer numbers are close to being even. It's still lopsided Chevy to Ford to Toyota, but they're closer to being even now than they ever were.
Right.
With the possibility that this is Stuart Haas's last year with Ford.
Yeah, I heard there might be one with Toyota.
Toyota.
Which is weird to think about with Tony having all them years with Chevy that he even went to Ford to begin with.
He went to Ford. He had a falling out with Chevy over it was in 14 when he switched over to Ford, because that was the year that Kevin Harvick won the title. But he had a falling out with Chevy over something, and he went to Ford.
Wasn't
And
there? Oh, sorry, go ahead.
And then he had a falling out with Ford over Kyle Larson. He wanted to sign Kyle Larson and essentially do what Chevy did. Well, if you notice Kyle Larson, when he's doing interviews, wears no Chevy branded gear at all, ever. He doesn't get
I guess I
cars.
never paid attention to it.
He doesn't get cars from Chevy. He doesn't get driver services from Chevy. He doesn't do Chevy appearances. Nothing. Because Chevy didn't want that PR with what Gregson or with what Larson had done, which was stupid, but like it's not unforgivable what Larson did. But you had that blunder that Larson pulled. Chevy didn't want the bad PR from it, so they said, we're not going to do any of this. That's why Larson still drives a Hendrix.com car, and Valvoline's one of the only national companies like we'll throw our name on there every once in a while.
I was kind of wondering why that was a Hendrix only car. Nobody still wants to sponsor because of that whole thing, huh?
Nobody, they're still kind of iffy about it. However, Tony wanted to do essentially the same thing with Larson at SHR and had a few sponsors lined up, but Ford pulled the plug on it and told him no.
The stupidest thing he could have done.
Didn't you say that Austin was moving on, or is Cindric coming back?
Cindric's coming back.
Okay, because I thought you said something last year where he was
there. Well, the thought was that Penske was going to send him back down to the Xfinity Series for one more year. Like what they had done with Cole Custer, what SHR did with Cole Custer, sending him back.
But he held his own pretty well last year.
No, he didn't. You're thinking of 2 years ago when you were here when he won the Daytona 500. Last year, Cindric did poor.
Who won the 500 last year? I can't even remember.
2 years ago.
No, who won it last year is what I'm saying.
Who won it last year? Stenhouse.
Oh, God. I forgot about that. See?
He won. Kyle Busch was about to win it, and then there was that wreck that sent it to overtime, and Stenhouse won it on the restart.
Yep, that's right. Because we were all furious about that because our fantasy drivers were out of whack on that.
I had Stenhouse in my garage.
Oh,
that's even worse.
That's brutal. No, I could have swore he was solid last year.
No, Penske as a whole underperformed last year. Logano didn't do well.
I was going to say Joey was like 9, 10, 15. He wasn't. I think he had one top 5?
No, he won a race.
Did he?
Yep.
No,
But he
so
didn't.
what
He
are
didn't.
they doing? I was gonna say, because aren't there just a couple of drivers for them?
There's three: Cindric, Blaney, and Logano.
So if they're both gone, then what? I mean, you
Well,
don't.
Logano didn't go anywhere, and neither did Cindric.
And Blaney's definitely not, since she's a defending champ.
Blaney took over the roost now.
Okay.
And what's funny is that Blaney's not afraid to work with Brad or the other Ford cars. Logano wouldn't.
Yeah. Well, even when Brad and Joey were teammates, Joey would have a tendency to try to draft with him and end up taking him out.
Or he'd shove him too hard, or
It was always a problem at Daytona. Believe me, Brad could win the 500. That'd be great. But get another monkey off my back after 25 years.
if you could get a Michigan championship and a Brad Keselowski Daytona 500 in the same year,
That's all I need. I don't need anything
You're
else.
done. You're
I'm
done.
done for the year.
You're done. Doesn't matter what the Browns do in 2024. You're done.
if you get two of those things, those two things, how quickly do you think Satan comes to collect your soul?
3 weeks, give or take.
Fair enough.
A month's too long. 2 weeks is too soon. 3 weeks is about right.
It's just a knock at your door and a very dapper gentleman and a slick back hair is like, hey,
Piper, you want to go get the door for Dad?
Where's your daddy?
Yeah.
it's the dude. It's just the dude who plays Lucifer on the TV show that shows up.
No, it'd be even greater if it was the Bernie Mac character from Life. Out of Pappy. He opened the door. He sticks his head in. Out of Pappy. Where's your Pappy?
Well, speaking of Satan, we have a drinking fountain at work that has one of those water bottle things on it.
Oh,
and
yeah,
it shows you how many plastic bottles have saved.
Right.
I went up to put my water bottle on it today, and it stopped on 666.
Nope, I'm done. I'm out.
I was dying laughing. I took a picture of it.
Bryce has them at his school. It's the coolest thing. But boy, you gotta be quick on removing the bottle out of there. You get cause some overflow on those things.
Hell, Madison or Thomas. Christina was pregnant with Thomas and wanted Wendy's after the one OB appointment one day. So we went to Wendy's.
Oh,
and there was
machines.
There was a senior citizen couple in front of us, and whatever they got rang up. And I looked at the total; it said $6.66. And I took a picture of it and I put it up on Facebook. And I said, "See proof that senior citizens are in league with the devil."
Ay. Oh, Cavs won.
They win. Did they score 100?
118.
Good. I get a free Big Mac tomorrow.
Yeah, 118, 108, or 111, something like that.
Really?
Over the Clips.
So if
they're going to make the playoffs this year, you think?
Let's see why not.
Yeah.
Has Detroit won a game yet?
Yes, they did. They went their streak went 28,
I think.
8 games.
So they set the record and they finally won one.
Yeah, it's 118 to 108 Cavs won.
Now the question is, has Detroit won any games since then?
Probably not.
Hang on. Oh my God. Oh. I was gonna say, I think that would have gave them 3. So
I mean, which fan base burns that arena down quicker? The Red Wings fans or the Pistons fans?
The Pistons have won 6. Holy cow.
And it's funny you mentioned the Pistons, because guess who's coming to Cleveland on the 31st?
The Pistons?
Yeah.
And they just won a game. They're on a 1-game winning streak.
Today we won a game. If we win tomorrow, that'll be 2 in a row. We win the day after that. That's what they call a winning streak.
Well, the Pistons have won 6. The Wizards have won 8. And the Hornets have won 10.
Do you think the coach of the you think the coach of the Pistons just has a cardboard cutout of Ben Wallace in the leopard print bikini that they take pieces off of?
No, he's got a bun or he got stuff around the hair too. Those pieces got to come off for the fro.
The headband comes off.
You're gonna make him earn it.
Yeah, the Cavs are sitting in 5th right now.
Overall,
I don't know how the Cavs are in
Conference.
5th. They are 6.5 back of Boston.
well, I mean, hell,
it's like right now, it's the top 10 teams, and you get 7 through 10 do their little.
there's what,
playoff
30
thing,
teams. There's 30 teams in the NBA, and
20
over-
of them get in the playoffs.
yeah, 2/3 of them get into the playoffs
Right.
anyway.
Yep.
All you have to do is not suck too bad. You essentially have to play as well as a 1AA school does to get into the tournament.
Literally.
You could be this year's George Mason.
Yeah, the Cavs aren't doing too bad.
I mean, the Pistons could win out and still make the playoffs after setting the losing streak record in the same season.
That's pretty bad.
All right,
I think
getting off here, boys.
Yeah, me too. But I think I'll leave you with this. I think they should do the NBA playoffs, NBA Jam style, where they just go 3-on-3.
Do Rock and Jock. Bring that back with the 50-point bucket way up top.
That was insane.
You bring both to start the game. You bring your best shooter from both squads out from half court. You 50-point bucket. If you can make it from half court, automatic win. Move on to the next round.
It wouldn't even. I'm telling you, it'd be more entertaining. Which, don't get me wrong, I do know that for the final thing for me is that I know they're saying that I can't remember who it was. It was that, how do you pronounce her last name? The chick that's like the NBA star, WNBA star, Sabrina, whatever her name is supposed to be having a 3-point contest against Steph Curry at the All-Star game.
That might be worth watching.
That would be interesting.
Yeah, like I know her last name starts with an I, but I'm not sure how in the hell you pronounce it. We need to call Suds for that one.
I was going to say, we call Suds in.
Call Suds.
Do you think Suds knows anything about the WNBA?
No, but we always get on him about the pronunciation of names when it's off
Names.
the wall, just to tell him to take a stab at it, and it's always pretty funny because he's never close. But all right, boys, you guys have a good night.
Yep.
You guys.
We'll catch y'all on the flip side. Thanks for tuning in.